Cooking a burger at Chili's used to look like this. 5 minutes of smashing, flipping, and waiting. Now it looks like this. It's just one of the many changes that might seem unnecessary, even pointless. But they could save the company at least $6.5 million every year. Here's how Chili's is pivoting its kitchens, the patty grilling on both sides at the same time. It takes just 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go from order to plate. And Chili's needs those 3 minutes to translate to bigger sales.
You think the worst thing about a burger is the price? Try this. One chain's bestseller packs nearly 4 times your daily limit of saturated fat in a single sandwich. That's not lunch, that's a health landmine engineered to taste irresistible. Today we're tracking how 5 popular burgers turned into corporate science experiments in addiction, and which one the American Heart Association would probably call a red flag on a bun. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. They call it comfort food, but what if that comfort is calculated?
The chain tried to attract younger customers by filling the menu with more options. But
a big menu is really hard to manage. You have to keep a lot of ingredients in your kitchens, you have to train your workers. They were once a real category leader in casual dining. That space now is very crowded. There's a lot of other kind of casual dining chains out there.
What are the menu items that are either duplicative on the menu or don't really sell and create a lot of prep steps for the kitchen? And so we've eliminated a lot of those.
So the restaurant reduced the menu by almost 20%, going from 92 items to 73. The company says it saved millions by having fewer ingredients.
Let's start with the Chili's Bacon Rancher, the poster child for engineered indulgence. On paper, it reads like a reward after a long week. In reality, it's better described as a cardiac catastrophe, an edible equation built for your brain, not your body. One sandwich takes you past your daily fat and salt limits before you finish the fries. That's not an accident, that's design. Marketing calls it hearty, a word that hides the real math. The truth is, menu developers know exactly how far they can push fattiness before guilt kicks in. Behind those glossy food photos, labs test combinations of fat, salt, and sugar the way fragrance companies test scents. A sensory scientist tweaks ratios until your brain lights up like it just won something. Every extra strip of bacon isn't about flavor, it's about dialing your dopamine higher so you crave the next bite.
They're not actually cutting that money from their budget. That is some of the money they're using to reinvest into bringing on more staff hours, to helping with the service level. But that is meaningful. I mean, that is millions of dollars.
Chili's is also buying smaller pickle jars. The company says the old ones were a pain to open and portion out. Now, it's as easy as unscrewing the top. The company says that alone will save it $500,000 annually. And it's not just the shrimp bagging getting the axe. The company has also stopped serving fries in baskets. It says workers were washing 40 million times a year. That's an estimated $430,000.
Visualize it like a row of sliders on a mixing board, move one for salt, another for fat, another for texture. When they hit the right balance, it triggers hunger beyond physical need. Each data point becomes another dollar in repeat orders. The Bacon Rancher may look generous, but nutritionally it's hollow. You're buying an illusion of abundance while losing control over satisfaction. Then there's the so-called fusion upgrade, Applebee's quesadilla burger, the fusion nightmare dressed as creativity. Fold a burger inside a quesadilla and you've essentially doubled the burden on your heart and kidneys. Around 3,000 milligrams of sodium in one item turns mealtime into a biology experiment your bloodstream didn't consent to. Oversized portions are sold as value, but that value costs more than the menu tells you. What's marketed as indulgence is really dependency, the industry's favorite business model. And the worst part? The rest of the burger world built entire menus on that same addictive blueprint. You'd think a monster burger or a Bacon King screams excess, but the real trick is how normal they look once they land beside a value menu. At first, the oversized bun and double bacon act like a dare, meant to get attention. But once one chain sets that bar, everyone else quietly adjusts their recipes to match it. Suddenly, what began as a one-time stunt becomes the new normal. Portion inflation isn't just happening, it's being built into your expectations.
That section of the kitchen has gone from being the hardest part of the kitchen to run to actually being the easiest part of the kitchen.
But the company says that installing the equipment will be slow. The new equipment is in just 67 of the chain's more than 1,000 restaurants. The company says that focusing on efficiency also makes workers' jobs easier as the chain grapples with labor shortages and inflation.
It's going to take years to roll out between both building equipment, assessing our restaurants on where to install the equipment and getting the equipment installed. What we're finding is ticket times are going down, food scores are going up, but most importantly, team members are finding it really easy to serve the guests very quickly, and that's exciting because we know if we can improve speed of service, that's going to lead to sales growth.
The illusion of choice keeps the system working. You walk into a quick service place, skim 3 or 4 burger options, and think you have variety. In reality, every one falls within roughly the same band of high sodium and saturated fat. Whether you pick classic, premium, or double, you're still swimming in the same chemical soup. Red Robin's Monster Burger drives the point home. It's marketed as fresh and handcrafted, yet nutritionally it tilts closer to a fryer basket than a salad bowl. Add the bottomless fries, and what should be one meal becomes an all-day sodium marathon. Hardee's and Carl's Jr. pushed the same line with their Monster Burger. Even as trans fats disappear from most shelves, some formulas edge the line by leaning on similar compounds for that crisp on the outside chew. The message stays the same: eat big, feel powerful. It sounds empowering, but it's really branding sleight of hand. The strength is imagined, the risk is real. Then there's the disclosure game. Chains publish nutrient numbers, but those vary by region, supplier, even by who's manning the grill that day. The wiggle room works like camouflage, giving plausible deniability when numbers look ugly. What feels like personal responsibility is actually system-wide conditioning, a slow shift where extreme becomes ordinary. Seeing that design is the first step to stepping outside it, without losing your appetite or your common sense. The biggest threat isn't one burger, it's how extreme food design quietly rewires what you think tastes normal. Chains build that high-salt, high-fat baseline until homemade food feels bland on purpose. When you treat those flavors as the standard, you eat on autopilot, not by choice. Check labels, question menu upgrades, and size down when you can. Real indulgence should feel like a treat, not a trap dressed in cheese sauce. The truth is, change starts with what we reward. If you expect better, they'll have to make it. Like and subscribe to help us keep the spotlight on the food industry's best-kept secrets.